Oh Lord, here they come. Yeah.
Alright guys, we're going to do a two-part series here on supplementation for natural athletes. This is going to be the part that's going to anger a lot of coaches because I'm giving out this info for free and benefit a lot of athletes. So we're getting into that. Like my cup, Mike, sort me out. Righto, so these natural supplements that we're going to talk about here are known to increase volume and quality of loads. Therefore, by stacking them all together, we will get a significant increase in impressive results. Try these out, see for yourself, and when you get those results, my PayPal descriptions are down below, Powerhouse Physiques. No, but seriously, this is the part where I throw in the disclaimer, educational purpose use only, even though each vitamin has been documented and researched individually. This is for educational purposes only. By no means am I a medical advisor or part of any medical committee. Got to give this disclaimer as the Food, Drug and Alcohol cannot regulate the supplementation supplements at all. So with that being said, we'll kick this off. Right, so we're going to start off with zinc. Now with the zinc we want gluconate, not sulfate. Sulfates are just a basic run of the mill. Have a look though, they're in most of your grocery stores with zinc gluconate. Now this is also the same zinc that you'll be issued by a naturopath. There for covering over the C word viral infection. So yeah, zinc gluconate, and that's at 25 milligrams a day in the AM. And lectins, soy lectin in specific, 1.2 grams per day. And that might sound like a lot, but I'm not asking you to supplement. All these things that we're going to lay out to you, you'll find have been in quantities of food, and we will discuss on some of these foods. And also you'll see how we choose what we choose in our nutrition plans that'll interact between part 1 and part 2, our increase in free radical testosterone, and part 2, how to mitigate and downgrade estrogen. So with your soy lectin, 1.2 grams per day, that's just throughout the day there, because it's going to be consumed in most of your foods. So theoretically you should not need to substitute this in, especially if you're someone that's vegan or vegetarian based. But you'll see those that are a lot, let's say, more heavier, dense on the protein side and a little bit lower on the carbohydrate side. You may need to look at some form of supplementation. And they're best found in legumes, nuts. Peanuts are actually the highest of the soy lectin in nuts anyway. Wheat germ, and canola oil. With our vitamin C, we're going to supplement there with 500 milligrams a day. Now, most of the tablets you can get nowadays are 500 milligrams chewable. Just remember, obviously, you always go see as you go urinate how much that expels. That is looking at your daily recommended intake. I think it's about 500% what your daily recommended intake is. That's just based off what they classify as a normal human, not someone in the performance athlete game. So if you can divide that down into 2 dosages, roughly 12 hours apart, let's just say with meal 1, with meal whatever, your last meal of the day, that tends to be as bad, a little bit better, and you don't excrete as much overuse because we can only process so much micronutrients at once. So with that being said, obviously a lot of the fruits that we do use will have vitamin C in there, but not to this form of concentrate. Now, when I say vitamin C, you're thinking oranges. One large, and I mean large orange, is only going to take about just under 100 milligrams of vitamin C. Now, in pineapple, 200 grams of pineapple, which isn't much. If you're eating the shitty tins of pineapple, which I do, 200 grams, I think you get about 400 grams, so 2 essential servings in a tin for someone like myself. And then you also, then I think that equates about to one and a half full slices there. going on from an actual pineapple. So even though they might not be your full daily recommended intake, you're going to periodically get that throughout the day. And those two are our two highest sources in fruit and vitamin C. Now, if you're one of my athletes, vitamin D, you all got this. You'll always have this. We're all deficient in vitamin D. That's just the way it is. Those specific that are doing shift work. Now, and with this, to get vitamin D can be utilized, and this is why it's in this stack, as an anabolic hormone. Now, it's not saying that it's an anabolic steroid. I'm saying it can increase anabolism within your body. Hence why it's in this stack. And we're talking about 8,000 IUs, which is quite a lot, which is about 8 of the little capsules that we usually seem to get. And we'll try to break that down to 2 doses throughout the day. Same. AM, PM tends to be the best that works for us. So with the vitamin D, it also tends to be stacked with K2. Now, K2 is the vitamin D that we get from the sun. So if you don't see 30 minutes of direct sunlight, I'm not just saying like you're driving the car. I mean like you're actually outside, out and about, doing something like that, and that direct sunlight for 30 minutes, you would like to supplement with K2, and that's like at 150 micrograms. So not a great deal there. It is obviously just better to get a little bit of direct sunlight, but we don't always have that that pleasure. And second last one here is L-citrulline. Now, most of our pre-workouts nowadays contain some L-citrulline, also for the antioxidants effects, and it also uptakes a lot of your regulation there, so helps with the blood volumization while you're getting your pump. And that is the and the precursor to that is L-arginine. Also, you want to, with both of these, L-citrulline is just a little bit more bioavailable, and you will look at basing that at about 5 grams a day. And I do believe most pre-workouts tend to be based around that 3 to 5, and your L-arginine's got a little bit more of a bitter taste, hence why that kind of got phased out as such, and they found something a little bit more. So with the L-arginine, you're going to want to look at more around the 7 milligram mark. Both of these you can buy in separate supplementations in individual powders, throw it in throughout the day, or with your pre-workout as preferred. And last one to touch on here is maca and maca root. So this tends to be between 1.5 grams to 3 grams. And that's going to be depending on obviously your lean muscle mass. I mean, not so much the let's just overdose on it as such. It's like if you're going to be a larger individual with a higher bone mineral density and also a larger lean tissue mass, you're going to be better off substituting with a higher amount. But if you've got to run around the shower to get wet, you're probably just going to be wasting a lot of that. Now, with that being said, not necessarily saying we've got to substitute with maca powder or maca root, something like that. But some of these some of these vegetables that you'll find maca high in is always going to be your broccoli, your cauliflower, your cabbage, sauerkraut, and kale. Kale being the highest, but we all know how people feel about kale. So as you've seen, I've touched on a couple little food choices there that you'll see a lot of coaches will add in. And so this will kind of be a conclusion of how to increase our free radical testosterone there to be creating an anabolic or increasing our anabolism within our own body and trying to utilize what we got. Obviously, with proper diet and training to come into that. But if we're talking percentiles for percentiles with a natural athlete, getting 5% here mightn't sound like a lot. But if you can take this 5% from here, this 5% from here, here and here, it all adds up, and it's going to help you capitalize and make the most out of your situation and help you be better than yesterday.
Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.